Welcome to the fifth episode of SDRs on Mars. I'm here with Nick Leclair today. And Nick, I'll let you take it away for a second.
Hey everyone, I'm Nick Leclair. I work at a company called Assent Compliance based out of the St. Laurent area in Ottawa, and I've been an SDR there for about 2 years.
Awesome. Okay, cool. And so you said Ascent was located here in Ottawa. Where are you working out of? Are you in Ottawa as well?
So I technically am just outside of Ottawa. I'm calling in from Moorwood, just near Winchester. I bought a place out here during the pandemic, but still an Ottawa resident.
Nice, awesome. Yeah, I think that's a little bit of a trend during the pandemic. Is get yourself some space.
Yeah, exactly. And I went and I bought a nice place for that.
Cool, awesome. I love that. So what does Ascent Compliance do?
So, Ascent Compliance is the global leader of supply chain data management. And what we do is we drive supply chain transparency through SaaS software and serving suppliers for regulations. So, we do a lot of ethical sourcing and product lifecycle management. So, we work with regulations like conflict minerals to the USMCA agreement. We do ITAR, fires, and DFires. We really do anything that involves driving transparency through your supply chain and being able to report on it effectively.
Cool. Okay. And so when you're prospecting for this, as the SDRs are usually given that task, who do you want to talk to? Who are your customers?
So it depends. I find the onus falls apart, within each company. Looking at it from an industry point of view, electronics, aerospace and defense, industrial manufacturing, those kind of companies that produce complex bill of materials. But looking at it more for like roles in a department, it will change depending. Every company handles compliance in a different department, in my experience. So it really makes the SDR job an interesting one.
Right. Okay. And so what does an SDR role mean for you? Are you like totally lead generation and prospecting? Do you close the sale? Like, tell me what it looks like.
Of course. It's kind of the role transitions the longer you're with Ascent, and there's kind of like internal racks you can go up. You work one to one with an account executive on developing and building their pipeline. Basically, what it looks for me day in and day out is I have a territory, I have a list assigned to me of 300 accounts that myself and my account executive will collaborate on, get tailored sequencing for, and then I do the reach out, booking the meetings. But I also stay there throughout the entire sales cycle, and we take the landing and expanding approach by doing that, building rapport with the right person, and being able to get within different parts of the company because of that.
Okay, cool. So I'm building up to the question of pitch me right now, but for this like sort of build up here, who am I if I'm your customer and you're going to pitch me?
You're someone who is probably way too overworked, but you're going to be someone whose role it's not your main job. It's going to be something that was normally piled onto your plate with most companies, and because these regulations come out, there's not always a direct, clean fit for them. So what it falls upon can really be, you could have an intern doing it, in my experience, or you could have a VP doing it.
Okay, cool. So let's pretend I am a VP, and I want to hear your pitch. Go.
So what we offer is a software platform that will come in at about 30% cheaper than any employee's salary and offer you an entire team of regulatory experts that will be going through, evaluating, and checking all of your submissions. We allow you to have the most effective reporting process in the world and are currently used by, I believe it's 55% of Fortune 500 manufacturers.
Damn, you've got that pitch down.
You got to have the elevator pitch ready to go, right?
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, I love it. What is the most common objection that you hear or encounter while you're going through your sales cycles?
So, I mean, aside from the classic unsubscribe that we all know, what I see is not a lot of education for what these regulations are. For example, on January 6th, Biden passed a new TSCA law, and a lot of my job is educating people that while this is not necessarily out yet, you need to prepare because once it does, it's going to blow back on you. So a lot of my objections is not right now, but in the future, and it's taking that no and turning it into a yes by actually listening to what they need and respecting them long term.
Cool. Yeah, that makes sense. I think active listening is a huge part of sales, and it's solid that you've caught on to that so far. That's nice. What is your most useful tool in your sales tool belt?
My personality, I would say, honestly, being able to relate to someone's a joke with a little bit among my coworkers is I really like to take the nice, friendlier approach than that sales, angle. And I'm also painfully honest. You'll get that call now and then where someone's like, "Is this a sales call?" And I'll be like, "Absolutely." And it really throws people off guard just how frank and honest I am about the process. That in turns, when you throw up a lead, they know that dollars are on their mind.
Right. It's kind of funny that you just mentioned to me like honesty is something that makes you stand out. Like I almost consider that something that just needs to like exist. Like
Absolutely, right?
yeah. So it's funny to hear that that's something that's an attribute that makes you different than like what I would expect a salesperson to be able to do.
Yeah, it's something that you find in the industry every now and then that people really will push themselves. And the definition of honesty can change depending on who you're talking to.
That's that is a fair perspective.
Yeah.
Okay, so how long have you been doing sales? Because you've been at Ascent for a little while now. Were you in a sales role before that?
I was. I actually originally started as a stock boy at Staples when I was 15, but I managed to work and stay at the company for 9 years so long to the point where I was doing account executive work for them.
Wow, cool. Okay,
Yeah.
so now that you've had that experience with sales, kind of growing through Staples, and you're in more of a traditional SDR role right now, why do you think you like sales?
Because every day's a different challenge for me. I don't walk in with the same problems every day. Talking to people, I'm a very solutions person. So for me, I like to provide, everyone has a different pain or a problem they want to work with. And so it's finding out how to make what we do relevant to that pain.
Okay, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Cool. And so here's sort of where I like to really get into it a little bit. So if you were talking to yourself or even someone that's looking to get into sales, what kind of advice might you have for that person?
Uh, the job you need to have the largest amount of self drive possible, and you need to be ready to take the knocks because with a job like this, it's a roller coaster. You're going to have your ups, you're going to have your downs, and it's being able to get yourself back up after being down that really defines who you are as a salesperson within the role because not everything's going to go according to plan. I always use a personal story of myself where I threw up 10 leads last year in 1 month, and I had not a single one of them show up and we couldn't figure out why. We had to sit down and look at it, but in the end, I had to take that loss and keep pushing forward.
Yeah, I think the resilience is a really big piece of it. So that's cool to hear. Um, it's I'm actually going to change my question order a little bit here because I kind of like where you were going there. So when you
Sure.
have a long day and maybe you're throwing up leads that aren't like panning out like they are supposed to, how do you like unwind? How do you get away from your busy work day?
I think that de-stressing is a huge part of the job here. Doing an SDR role, you have to really be able to disconnect, home from work, especially now that we're all working from home. And what I do for that, it varies from day to day. Cooking is probably my favorite thing to do. I have a really nice stove, and I post up on the my stories that I'm cooking up, elk burgers, something like that, or steaks. And for me, that's a big passion after the workday. I'll go down on my lunch, pick out a piece of meat, let it get going, and have everything ready for when I'm done the day, and take that time to just unwind and relax.
Cool. Yeah, I can relate to the cooking bit. It really kind of just takes you away from what you're stressing about at the current time, kind of thing. And yeah, I think it's a good relaxer. Oh, here's my dog. Just saying hi.
Hello. I just got a dog myself.
Oh, nice. I'll try and get him in the shot a little more here. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is Frodo.
Oh
He's
my god, I love the name.
yeah. He's pretty little. And he doesn't look like it, but he's 8 years old. So yeah, it's kind of weird to have such a small dog. It's like I kind of co-own this dog with like some family. I probably would have chosen a larger dog myself. I feel like I'm gonna break him sometimes, but that's just the way it goes.
I won't even tell you the breed I got then.
Oh yeah, did you get a little
Yeah,
one?
I got a Great Dane.
Oh nice. Okay, yeah, I like that.
Yeah, a good old like 4 foot dog.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's the kind of dog you can wrestle with, and he's not gonna get upset about it.
Yeah, much less chance of breaking him.
Yeah, exactly. That's cool. Okay, so how do you start your day? Are you a tea drinker? Are you a coffee drinker? Are you a water drinker? What do you
I would say it's a combination of caffeine and self hate, but
do?
no. I have a ritual every morning. Actually, it's a weird way I start my morning. You shower, I make my coffee. I'll have a nice, and I'll get a carbonated water with it. And sit down on my desk and just get the day going through there. Listening through my emails, just kind of starting to ramp it up slowly. And usually by an hour in, I'm really starting to crank up the outreach.
Cool, that makes sense. Yeah. Um, It's sort of interesting that you mentioned like a morning ritual. I find myself constantly in the morning, I'm like, I have different songs that kind of pump me up or whatever for the day. And like, that just kind of puts me in the right mood. So,
Mhm.
yeah, I think the rituals are huge. Um, I think that's mostly what I wanted to go through today. So my last question for you is kind of like, what's next? What do you have going on this summer?
Ooh, this summer I'm looking to put a fence in terms of the home life. But in terms of what I'm doing in the business side of things, I'm hoping to add about 1 million into my AE's pipeline.
Wow. Okay. And is that
Yeah.
like a lofty target? Like how does 1 million compare?
Well, so it's 1 million ARR is what I'm aiming for. So that would be year over year. Myself, I did manage to put that in last quarter, so I'm aiming to do it quarter over quarter. It's a pretty lofty goal. I had to achieve 200% of my quota to get that.
Oh, right. Okay. So like that means that you're going to crush
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you got to, right?
it.
If you're not first, you're last in this line of work.
Yeah, you know what? I was saying that the other day and I was like, Ricky Bobby is like coming in with all the facts.
Well, absolutely. That's why that's a quote we use all the time. If you're not first, you're last, and it gets very deadly at the end of a quarter.
For sure. For sure. I can see that. Awesome. Well, it was a pleasure to have you on today, Nick. And when this eventually gets pushed out, I'll make sure to tag you in it, and we can take a closer look at who Nick is and what he's offering, and you'll see how to get in touch with Nick as well.
Yeah. Anyone has any questions compliance related, please feel free to reach out. I'm always able to help.
Awesome. Well, I'm gonna let you go for the day, and like I understand that you probably have your call flow going on, so I don't want to rip into it too much.
Yeah. Thanks so much, Jeremy. It was great meeting with you, and I love the podcast.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you so much.